All right, guys, we've been running a fun series here at The Jump, taking a bunch of the teams that are competing in Orlando and catching you up on where they are, since it's been so very long since you've actually seen them on the court. Basically, it's like when your favorite TV show comes back from hiatus. We've covered the Sixers, the Rockets, and the Bucks, and today we're going to continue with the Boston Celtics. When you're going over the king, two hands, ladies and gentlemen.
That's over LeBron. That's like Tatum a year or two ago.
I really like Kemba Walker. Well, he's like that perfect Boston fusion of Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie, able to take over games.
They got rid of the guy who they needed to get rid of, Kyrie Irving.
It's certainly not Kyrie's fault.
You think it was your fault?
Yeah, I do think it was my fault.
Having the right leaders always helps.
It's just a better vibe, Paul. It's just a better vibe.
I mean, obviously, they got better leadership in there.
A magnificent defensive play from Marcus Smart.
The evidence of Mike Green's Snickers consumption is right there on the floor.
Shame on you.
Hayward underwent surgery on the hand he broke over the weekend. He won't be back until around Christmas. So at least now we can bring back, yep, you knew it was coming, Hayward!
Oh, dear.
Yeah, any long-term worries here?
Their success will greatly depend on Kemba Walker and his health.
And most points allowed in the fourth by a Celtics team since 1972.
That was ridiculous.
Pulls up from the wing.
Yeah.
Right?
That was nice.
That boy to the left of me is an absolute problem.
My best friend from back home, he called me like, bro, LeBron just gave you, he just shouted you out.
I think he's making the leap to superstardom.
What is this, third year? It's that time. I don't want to give him superstardom right now until I see what he does in the playoffs.
All right, as you just saw, LeBron James taking notice of Jayson Tatum's play, and not the only one. Since February, the 22-year-old is scoring 29 points a game and has become Boston's official #1 option on offense. Now, Scottie, the Celtics have title aspirations now. Do you think Jayson Tatum is already now capable of carrying that best player on a championship team title?
Rachel, I really do. I think this has been a breakout season for Tatum. He started out this season sort of on a mission to separate himself from the other players who've grown and developed, as well as really showing some leadership, I think, by becoming an all-star this season. But his scoring was really starting to peak right there. He, again, separated himself a little bit from the other players to show that he was going to be the go-to guy, the offensive leader for that team. And I think if this team is to make a run, it has to rely on Tatum's ability to carry them offensively. And I feel like he's totally ready.
Nice. Scottie, I think you'll probably agree with this. Even as good as some of their other players are, to really make a massive difference in playoff games over and over, you've got to have good size. And, you know, Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart are going to have moments. They may win them individual playoff games. But we've just seen how the NBA goes. You've got to be that type of player. And that is what Jayson Tatum is bred to be. And this is the $100 million question. Whether we get the answer this playoffs or not, they're going to sign him to a max contract in all likelihood in this offseason, and they're investing him in their future. So they're gambling that this is going to be their guy.
Well, Brian, you mentioned height. If you weight by playing time, the Celtics are actually the third shortest team in the entire league. They don't have a starter above 6'8", and that is interesting, right? The Bucks are going to be the top seed in the East. They certainly do not lack height. Brian, do you see the Celtics' height coming back to bite them at all?
Yeah, this is like an audacious move. It didn't get as much attention as the Rockets because Brad Stevens did this in the preseason when he decided to do this. But he's like, look, my best players are all 6'8" and under. I'm going to put my best players out there when it matters. And they haven't gone after a big man replacement. This is what the team they want to roll out. And the reason it's audacious is because the team that's one of their biggest rivals is one of the biggest teams we've seen in recent NBA history in the Philly 76ers. That's a team that they've struggled with. They like their chances against the Bucks. Against the Sixers, it hasn't been so good. And that's why these seeding games are going to matter, because guess what? Today, that would be a first-round matchup, and I think the Sixers like how they match up.
What about you, Scottie? How much do you worry about height with the Celtics?
Well, I think the are a very dangerous team. I don't worry about it with that team. If there's any team out there that can get hot and those young players can come together, do it collectively, they're a very scary ball club. So I'm not going to worry about them. I think that they're going to have a great opportunity based on the fact that, you know, the same preparation is going to be for every team. It's going to be a short window of preparation. So I think their style of play, again, if they can shoot the basketball well and get those guys going, they could be a difficult matchup. And I think that's how they're looking at the coin, is that how our teams are going to defend us instead of how are we worried about defending the bigger size and size out on the basketball court.
I think that's absolutely right. We expected maybe the Celtics would make a move at the trade deadline, right? To sort of maybe bulk up their height, bulk up their center position. And they decided not to, kind of just like you said, Scottie. They're like, we're us. We feel good about us. We'll see how everyone does. Roll the dice against us. Just you watch. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.